a meaningful, because ultimately, isn't that what we all want? We want to lead a life so that however we transition, people can say, wow, that was a bright one. That was a bright light. First of all, I think that it comes from a deep sense of awareness about who you are and why you're here. It comes from being in touch with, on a regular basis, the appreciation and the holy gratitude that should fill each of our hearts on a regular basis, just knowing what a privilege it is to be here and to be human. To me, successful is getting to the point where you are absolutely comfortable with yourself. It does not matter how many things you have acquired. The ability to learn to say no and not to feel guilty about it, to me, is about the greatest success I have achieved. The fact that I have, in the public side, done whatever, it's all a part of a process for growing for me. But to me, to have the kind of internal strength and internal courage it takes to say, no, I will not let you treat me this way, is what success is all about. It's the same thing that prevents you from being abused as a child, that prevents you from being abused as an adult, that allows you to build success for yourself. I will not be treated this way. I demand only the best for myself. All the mistakes I've made in my life, I've made because I was trying to please other people. Every one of them. There's not one that I've made because I did something because I really wanted to do this for myself. Every mistake I've ever made is because I went outside of myself to do something for somebody else that I should not have, to please them, just for the purpose of pleasing them. You are worthy to say no. That it's okay if you say no. It's okay if you say no and then people don't like you. That's really okay. The important thing is how you feel about what you're doing, how you feel about yourself. It's a long struggle, though. And I'm just hoping that, in the work that I do on the show and the speaking that I do around the country, and that young people who are watching this can get the lesson sooner than I did. Because it's painful, because you keep repeating it over and over and over until you get it right. And what I found is that every time you have to repeat the lesson, it gets worse. Because I call it God trying to get your attention, the universe trying to get your attention. So we didn't get your attention the first time, so we're going to have to hit you a little harder this time. So I'm still doing it. I'm still learning. I say this. I say many times, I say the universe is always trying to get your attention. I use universe and God interchangeably. It's trying to get your attention. And sometimes it starts out, any major problem you encounter, it always started out as a whisper. By the time it gets to be a storm, you've had a pebble knock you upside the head, you had a brick wall, you had the house to fall down, and before you know it, you're in the eye of the storm. But long before you're in the eye of the storm, you've had many warnings, like little clues. So now my goal in life is to not to have to hit the eye of the storm, is to catch it in a whisper, to get it the first time. And getting it comes from understanding I think the one thing that has allowed me to certainly achieve both material success and spiritual success is the ability to listen to my instinct. I call it my inner voice. It doesn't matter what you call it, nature, instinct, higher power. But the ability to understand the difference between what your heart is saying, what your head is saying. I now always go with the heart. Even when my head is saying, oh, but this is the rational thing, this is really what you should do. I always go with that little feeling, the feeling. I am where I am today because I have allowed myself to listen to my feelings. I feel that luck is preparation meeting opportunity. One of the biggest lessons I've learned recently is that when you don't know what to do, you should do nothing until you figure out what to do. Because a lot of times you feel like you're pressed against the wall and you've got to make a decision. You never have to do anything. No, don't know what to do. Do nothing. I wait. And that has been a big lesson. To be willing to be still with myself and trust myself and my higher power to help me make the right decision and to not feel pressured. See, I think, we create stress for ourselves because you feel like you have to do what other people, you have to do it, you have to. I don't feel that anymore. You must know inside in the deepest part of your being that you matter, not just that you matter, but also why. So for me, the foundational base of empowerment, of entrepreneurship, of any kind of engagement the foundational base of my success, of my well-being, my wholeness, my everything is knowing who I am and where I come from. In my living room right now is a painting that I've owned now for 30 years. You can Google it. It's called To the Highest Bidder. And it's at the center of my house. And it's at the center of my house because it actually is symbolic of the foundation of not the house, but the foundation for my life. The painting is by Harry Rosalind, who was a genre painter in the early 20th, late 19th century. And the painting is over 6 feet tall, and it shows a slave woman on the auction block holding her daughter's hand. And I cannot come in the door, my front door, or I cannot leave without passing that painting. I am reminded of where I come from every day of my life, and I am reminded because I never want to forget it. And in my library, I have a framed list of enslaved African-American people, remember I showed you, who were held in bondage on various plantations, listed in the ledgers alongside the cows and the horses and the buggies and the other property. And I pass this list every day. And often I stop in front of it and just speak their names out loud and their ages. Jonas, 11 years old, $500. Sarah, 41 years old, $900. Elizabeth, 57, $800. And I force myself to consider the absurdity and the obscenity of prices being affixed to each one should they be placed up for sale. And I sometimes just pause before them with a prayer, particularly before I have to make a big decision about one of my companies or whether I move forward or whether I stay still. It reminds me, speaking those names out loud, not only of where I've come from, but how far I have to go because of them. And it reminds me that I am never alone. It reminds me of what I've come through to get through. And even when I find myself in settings where I am the only Black woman, still, that kind of singularity, it doesn't make me uncomfortable. And I gotta tell you, it never has made me uncomfortable. One of my favorite teachers is Gary Zukav, who says that authentic power is when you learn to use your personality to serve the energy of your soul. So you are the bigger soul that has a personality. When you figure out how to take, I have a big personality. It's lovely, it's charming, but it's not me. It's not me. I am here to do my soul's work. And I use my personality to serve the soul's work. And everybody has a different talent. And the reason we're all so messed up is because you're looking at everybody else's talent and wishing you had some of their talent. All the energy that you spend thinking about, wishing about, being jealous of, envious of anybody else is energy that you're not only putting out, it's going to come back to you negatively, but you're taking that away from you. All your energy should be forced on, what do I have to offer? What do I have to give? How can I be used in service? Because Dr. King's message of not everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great, because greatness is determined by service. And there is not a job in here that you can do that you don't switch the paradigm to service and not make that job more fulfilling.
All right. Good evening. How is everyone feeling on this wonderful Wednesday evening? Please give me one word of how you're feeling today. Let's get started with how are you feeling? And for some of you who joined us early and who's also listening in to this awesome audio by Oprah Winfrey, she's certainly one of my mentors. I've actually always looked at her as that kind of a mentor where, I'm almost like an Eklavya. Okay, so nice. Pranay feeling good, hopeful and awesome. Nice. Sid, good, confident. Kavya, super good, says Kavita, good. Good, good, good. And everybody else, how are you feeling? Give me one word. What's the emotion? What's the feeling? Because it's very important. Can you see my little fellow behind there? He's feeling sleepy and he's fast asleep. I don't know whether any of you can notice, but I've got one nice little cat right there. So, well, good that everybody's feeling good. Anybody else feeling anything else? Go right ahead and type in, because I always like to know how people are feeling. What's the mood like before we begin speaking about important things, whether it's in our live session or our inner circle call. So on track, says Saravana, fantastic. I'm super happy to know that. And I really, really want, people to be on track when it comes to implementing a lot of things that you people are learning in this 30-day challenge. I'm also wanting people to implement the things that they have promised that they will implement. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday is when you promised that you would be putting out one video. It could be a 1 minute, it could be a 1 minute 30 second, it could be a long form, whatever it is that it takes for you to actually go out there and put it on. How many of you are attending a live session with me for the very first time? Give me an FT in the comment box. Live session, as in, once you're part of the community. How many of you? Anu Yadav, Archana, Sunita, congratulations. And I really want everybody here to welcome them with, in your style. Go right ahead and give them a warm welcome. Sid, yes, of course, Sangeeta. All of these people are attending it for the very first time. So go right ahead and give them a big, big round of applause. More power to each and every one of you for taking this decision of actually being here. Feels like the first time. Thank you, Saravana. That's so sweet. Yes, but please go right ahead and welcome all our first timers. I know for a fact that, there's always that apprehension. There's always that, oh my God, am I really going to get something out of here? And that is something that we would like to put to rest today. So yes, more and more power to each and every one of you who've taken that decision. Superb decision taken by everyone who is at home, or who is not in, some kind of a compromising situation where you're either driving or you're traveling and you're walking on the road or something like that. Can you switch on your camera so that everybody can see everybody? That would be really, really amazing. It's raining heavily in Gurgaon today, is it, Kavya? Oh, wow. Okay, so there are some network issues and that's not letting her turn on the camera. So no problem. We understand when it's something which is beyond your control, it's beyond your control, all right? And everyone who's switching on your camera, understand this: when you're sitting in front of a camera, the light source always has to be in front of you. If it is behind you, we will only see you as a silhouette, okay? So when the light source is in front of you, then that's when people will be able to see your face. And also understand one more thing: when you're sitting in front of a camera, it's always good, no matter what session you're sitting in front of, it doesn't need to be that you are recording something. When you have your camera lens and your eyes at the same level, that's when, at a subconscious level, today is all about nonverbal cues, nonverbal communication, which is such a massive part. It's the most massive part of communication. When it's about helping people understand where you're coming from, or, what kind of a person you are, your camera angle in virtual communication plays a very massive role, okay? And when your camera angle is such that your eye level and your camera lens is at the same level, you're not looking down into the camera, you're not looking up, because when you're looking down, subconsciously, you're giving people the thought process. This is happening at a subliminal messaging, in a subliminal messaging space, okay? Subconsciously, you're giving out that message that you're looking down at people. When you have your camera angle up and you're looking up, it's giving people a message at a subconscious level that you consider yourself, I have my nose up in the air and I really am not bothered about everybody else around me. Okay, so again, that's where I want everybody to start understanding whether you're attending a session, whether you are taking a session, or you're actually conducting a session, okay? Or you're recording, let's say, a video for yourself. Every single point in time, your camera lens and your eyes need to be in the same line, so that you're looking at people face frontal, your body is like full on, it's fully frontal. All right. Yes, Sid, it would be wonderful if you can start your camera off, because everybody likes to see everybody. I'm very sure about that. And guys, just give me a second. I just want to be able to fix something. Okay. All right. Fine. Awesome. So anybody and everybody who can switch on their cameras, please switch on your cameras, because that's really, really amazing. Okay. To be able to speak with people and not speak with khali empty boxes, but people who are not in a situation where they can't, where they are not able to switch on the camera, then of course, no worries there. So hello, every single one of you. I am super excited to be here with you. I'm super excited to be welcoming each and every one of you. And today, what we really want to be able to talk about is definitely that one part in communication which actually speaks the loudest, allows our message to go forth the loudest, and people really get the truest intention of your message, not just with your words, because words, account for very, very minimalistic percentage. When you're sharing your message, there is a very large part of your message that goes across through your body language and through your appearance. Can somebody take a wild guess what percentage of your message actually goes across through your body language and your appearance? Can somebody take a wild guess? Share in the comments. What percentage out of 100%, what percentage of your message actually is understood correctly by people thanks to, okay, Mohit says 70%, 70% says Sid. Okay, less. Okay. HK, you are very close. Medha, you are very close. Okay, Ishika, you're also pretty close. Okay, so it is 55% of your message that goes across through your body language and through your appearance. Appearance means how do you show up for a meeting? How are you looking? How are you dressed? All of that sends a message. Now, the next largest part in your message going across to people with the right intention that you actually want people to understand the message with, that intention is important. That goes across through your voice tonality, your modulation. So can somebody else, or same people, keep taking a guess. What percentage of your message do you think goes across through your voice modulation, your voice tonality? Give me a percentage in the comment box right now. What do you think? 30%? Medha, pretty close. Mohit, 25%? No, more than 30%. Kavita, you're the closest. So 38% of your message actually goes across through your voice tonality, through your voice modulation. That's 55% plus 38%. You people are better than me in math, I'm assuming, right? So what is left? What percentage is left? Only about 7% of your message goes across through your actual words, through a PPT, through the words, the content. Content is what? Your data. What is coming out of your mouth is called verbal communication. That's called your data. That's called your content. Everything else, body language, appearance, voice modulation, everything else is context. So your context is much more powerful than your content. That's very, very powerful in communication. And therefore, they say that when we focus on our non-verbal communication being very strong, that's when we really become super charismatic or impactful or magnetic as communicators, as speakers, as trainers, as consultants, whichever profession that you are in, as salespeople. So you need to be able to focus on a lot of areas when it comes to nonverbal communication. So according to you, what are the different areas that we need to focus on when it comes to nonverbal communication? Write it down in the chat box for me. Come on. Go ahead, everybody. And everyone who can type in a message, please take a dig at this, because this is the most, your clothes, fantastic. Yes, Kavya, because that's a very massive part of your nonverbal communication, right? If you're in a very formal setting and you're wearing very informal clothes, then again, you're giving out a wrong message. Your smile, very nicely put, Sid. Yes. Your hairstyle, fantastic. Yes. So that's your grooming right there. Your body language, your complete body language. Yes, Neha. Your hand movements, which are called hand gestures. Absolutely right, which is a part of body language. But body language has various different elements in it. And therefore, it would be nice to see how people, figure out what kind of elements are there in body language. Your voice, yes, you're right, Kavya, but what are the elements in the voice? Your facial expressions, beautiful. Your gestures, very nice. Okay. Anything else that you can think of? Look at yourself right now if you're on camera and tell me what. Yes, in your voice, your pitch, beautiful. High pitch, low pitch. Volume being really loud, volume being really nice and soft, and really low pitch. Yes, everything is giving out a message, correct? Your eye contact, fantastic, HK. Your pace, very good. How fast you're speaking, how slow you're speaking, all of that, right? Now, all of these things matter, and tonality, for sure, Medha, correct? Now, let's get straight to it, and let's start identifying what is it that we want to be able to start with first. So I want to be able to start with voice first, and that's what I'm going to start sharing. Beautiful, HK, the pauses. Your pauses can actually allow you to win your viewers, your audience's hearts. Your pauses allow you to have a beautiful flow. Your pauses allow you to stress on the things that you really want to stress. Yes? Nice. Yes, of course, your smile. You should have a very cheerful countenance at all times. Doesn't matter, even if it's a very, very, how would you call that? A very professional setup. Everybody can do with a smile. That's one crooked line which can actually connect hearts. Okay. The straight line doesn't connect hearts when it comes to your face. It's that one crooked line on your face, which is your smile, which can actually connect hearts, which can actually make your audience feel like they are, that you're eager to speak with them. It can actually make your audience feel like they are valued and that you are happy to speak with them and connect with them. It makes you approachable. Okay, so smiling is very important, even if it is a very, very professional corporate or a professional business setup. Don't ever mistake that the smile will actually make it very frivolous. No, not at all. Let's get started first and foremost with our voice. And in our voice, obviously, the first thing that I really want you to understand is that in your voice, your tonality, your tone is extremely important, because that really gives the real meaning to your message. Understand, how do you feel that it gives real meaning? Because of all of these things. It's not what you say which is important. It is how you say what you say that makes all the difference. So what kind of a tone are you using? Are you using an expert tone? Are you using a very friendly tone? Are you using a conversational tone? Is there that dedication, that commitment in your voice? Is there sarcasm in your voice? And are you making people feel beneath themselves because of that, your sarcasm? Is there that down to earth, that warm tone in your voice? Is there the challenging tone? What are you going to do about this? Huh? Let me see now. What are you going to do about this? Again, so that challenge, is there that challenging tone in your voice? Is there, that quirky, tongue-in-cheek kind of, I am trying to make fun of you, but I'm also not trying to make you feel bad kind of tone in your voice, right? It's all about what are you feeling inside, what you're feeling inside at that point in time when you are speaking with people. That's what people will actually connect with. Is there that enthusiasm in your voice when you're speaking with people? It's very, very crucial. Are you excited? Are you eager? Are you optimistic? Is your tone an optimistic one, or is it a very pessimistic one? Is there that negative ring in your tone? Is it an upbeat tone, like, let's do this, we've got this, you can do this, you can make this happen? Or is it like, I really don't know, this is difficult, so I don't really know whether everybody can do it. Hello. Now that's a tone which we never want to use, because we're always in it to inspire people. We're never in it to demotivate people. Is mine upbeat? You tell me, what is mine? You can actually analyze what is my tone when I'm speaking with you at this point in time. Yes, you can actually do that analysis, because that's what I'm beginning to teach you people as well. How do you start analyzing when somebody's speaking with a particular tone? And therefore, you can actually set things straight with your tone. Yes, excited and upbeat. Absolutely. That's what I feel. Anybody else also feels something else? Please go ahead and share, right? Is it a provocative tone? Provocative in the, when we're talking about provocative between two people who are attracted to each other, that provocation and that tone is very different. The romantic tone is very different as compared to the provocative tone when you are trying to get people to do something, or you're provoking them, and you know for a fact that unless and until you make them feel the pinch of the situation that they're in, they're not going to change the situation. So is there that provocation in your tone, getting them to take some action, and you're therefore provoking them? Sometimes that reverse psychology, you tell them that they can't do it, and then that's the way that you're provoking them, right? Nice. So Saravana says, my tone is upbeat, expert and fresh. Kavita says, strong and powerful. Okay, superb. So see, everybody reads into a tone, and if you can have that kind of a tone where you can glide from, let's say, an upbeat to an excited to a fresh to an expert to whatever else, strong, powerful, that's when you're really making good use of your gift, because your voice is your gift. All you need to be able to do is figure out what's the feeling inside. Are you feeling like sharing something? I've made a video about this, which I've put on Insta as well as on Facebook in our group, where I've said, to people that sometimes when we're at work and we're very heavily in work, right? And we come back home and we've probably been in a sales kind of a situation, or we've probably been in a high stress situation where we're not hitting the numbers that we are actually supposed to hit. And when we come back home, people in our home feel like, hello, what have I done? I'm not one of your team. I'm not one of your sales team. So why can't you be friendly with me? And all of that they've probably got from the way that your face is. You're not maybe maintaining eye contact, there is no smile, and also from your tone. And I always try and tell people, when you're too much in your head, listen to this carefully. When you're too much in your head, there's a constant chatter going on in our brain. You're thinking of many different things, and therefore your eyes are not, full of warmth. You want to change the situation from that expert who's probably that boss kind of person who's probably telling their team, hello, this needs to be done, and it needs to be done yesterday. It was supposed to be done yesterday. We still haven't got it done today, and today's day is over. Now that kind of tone works in a workplace where you want to get things done, but when you come back to your family, they want that conversational person. They want that person with the warmth. So they want the person who moves from the head and shuts down the chatter which is going on in their head and comes into the heart. So I always talk about, when you want to change your tone or when you want to change your facial expressions, you need to shift your mindset. And you need to move from your head into your heart. And therefore, I've coined this term where I say that you need to shift your mindset and move into your heart set. You need to start thinking from the heart. You need to start, when you start thinking from your heart, that's when you start feeling. And when you start feeling, what is it that the other person is asking me? How is the other person wanting me to, communicate at this point in time? Does this person want to share something with me? Does this person just want me to listen? That's all this person is probably asking for. The minute you drop down into your heart, that's when you can really start feeling your own emotions as well as the emotions of the opposite person. Yes, and that's where Medha, the heart to heart, comes in, right? Because communication is not about being up here in your head. That's when you communicate very superficially. When you drop down into your heart, that's when you connect at a deeper level, and that's when you communicate from a deeper level as well. And that's when the change in tone of your voice can very easily be handled and maneuvered. How many of you feel like I'm making sense? How many of you probably had like a bulb on moment when I shared this small tweak? If you had a bulb on moment, give me a BO in the comment box. And if you're thinking like I'm making sense with what I'm sharing about voice and tonality, give me an MS in the comment box, right? Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. Awesome. Now, so tone, you realize, is important, and you have it in you to be able to change your tone. You will start noticing it. Just need to become a little aware of it. How do you use different tone? With your children, you're different. With your spouse, you're different. With your teammates, you're different. With your customers, you're different. Just start analyzing, and that's when you'll realize. With your friends, you're totally different. In different situations, you use different tones. Start becoming aware, and that's when you can actually start using that ability that you have. One thing that you need to always keep in mind when you are talking about the tone of your voice, there are 4 dimensions of the tone of voice. Okay. Now, whatever be the content, you need to be able to analyze the tone of your voice using these 4 dimensions. 1, do you have that slight humor? When I say humor, it's not only about making people laugh. Do you have a cheerful countenance? That you have the ability to make people smile because you're smiling. You have the ability to maybe laugh at yourself and therefore help people to lighten up a little bit, because everything cannot be super, super serious. Even when it comes to manifestation, they say, don't become so serious about what you want that you start giving out this energy of, oh my God, I'm not achieving it. When you become too super serious about something, try to keep it light. Try to be light-hearted, even in the most serious situations. That's what the humor here stands for. Okay. The formality. You can never really start taking people for granted. That is what I mean by formality. And also what I mean by formality is, life is too short to be serious. That's so true, right? It's too short to be serious. And therefore, keeping it light-hearted is super awesome. Formality could also mean, in different scenarios, the time of the day that you're with people, the kind of people that you're with as well. Suppose you are with people who you really have maybe learned a lot from, then that formality, that respect, or that, the way you greet them will be totally different as compared to the way you greet your peers, or the way you greet people who are much younger to you and you have a lot of love for them, but you have respect for them, but you don't have that looking up to them like, oh, these are the people who've actually made me. So the way that you greet all these types of people will be different. So that formality that comes in. Okay. And also, like I said, the time of the day and the language or the region that you belong to, that formality also comes in when it comes to your tone. Now, respectfulness, this has to be adhered to no matter who you speak to. Somebody who's much elder to you, somebody who's much younger to you, doesn't really matter. You need to be respectful. And that's when that conversation will become super powerful. Okay, when there is respect at both ends. And of course, the enthusiasm. I always say this, and I want everybody to do this with me. I always say, this is, I've learned from my mentor, Blair Singer, and he always says that when you are in front of somebody, the highest energy wins. Okay, so we can do it this way: the highest energy wins. Can we all do this together? Let's do this with action. People who are not even on camera, it doesn't matter. Just do it so you will remember this phrase with the action. Go ahead and say it out loud and do it with energy. It's the highest energy wins. Say it out loud in your own homes. The highest energy wins. You will see this happening in your own lives. Whenever you have really high energy, when you have enthusiasm in your voice, when you have that eagerness to connect with somebody, when you have that, oh, okay, wow, I want to really, really be able to, I am super happy, I'm super elated to share this information, this piece of information with these people. That's where also your enthusiasm comes from. Your enthusiasm also comes from the passion that you have for whatever it is that you're speaking. All of these things connect back to your enthusiasm. Okay, so always remember those 4 dimensions. I hope that you people have been taking notes. Please don't keep asking me to keep going back and forth in terms of the slides, because that's not really going to be possible with the amount of stuff that I want to cover with you people. All right, then let's move forward. So we realize that tone is extremely important when it comes to giving out the real message that we want to give out, because it's not the words, it's the tone. Okay, I'll give you an example for this. Let's say you had a rough time at office and your best friend called and you said, "Haan bol." You just said, "Haan bol," or you said, "Haan, yes." And normally you say, "Hey, how you doing?" or something like that. "Yo, dude, how you doing?" or whatever. If you speak Marathi, "She is girl, long time," whatever. Okay, I'm just giving you an example. And your tone was, "Haan bol," and the person suddenly feels, "Caught you at a wrong time? Kuch hua kya? Is there something that's not going right?" How many of you have face this with your family members or with your besties or with your friends who understand you, or your colleagues for that matter? How many of you have had people subconsciously people grasp our tone? Of course, because the massive part of your communication, the massive part of your message goes across to your tonality as well. Remember, 38%. How many of you this has happened, that you were in something else, the tone of your voice made people understand that they haven't caught you at the right time? Give me in the comment box if that's happened with you, right? Yes, correct. So I'm glad that people are understanding that the tone can actually say a lot about what you're going through. Now the pitch, again, this pitch, when I talk about pitch, it's high pitch and then there's the low pitch, and always your voice needs to glide from high to low, and that's when people will feel that real variation. And it's only when you have that high to low, that's when people will understand your message. Otherwise it's all going to go in the same tone, and that's where the term monotone comes from, because then there is absolutely nothing but that one tone. Are you getting it? So there are how many of you here, now be truthful, people who have done this, you've missed certain teachers, certain professors ka sessions because, oh God, they are so monotonous. I don't understand anything that they're sharing because they're monotonous. How many of you have experienced that, maybe with your professors, or maybe with somebody at your workplace? Physics. Right, there you go. Right, your science teacher, there again. So that is exactly what I'm saying. We do not wish to be monotonous, and therefore this high low is very, very crucial. Start analyzing how your questions end. How do your questions end? See where it ended? Slightly higher. And when I want to end a sentence, I have to end it slightly lower. Are you figuring it out? So when you're giving an answer and you want a definite end, it's not a question. That's when you will end it lower. Your pitch will go lower. But the minute you want to ask a question and say, okay, have you people been able to understand this example that I'm giving you? You will end it slightly higher. So start becoming aware, because that is very crucial, guys. All right. There are a lot of people who constantly talk, and all their sentences end in a question. I went to the market yesterday and I thought of getting myself some blueberries. I think I've given this example even in one of my videos that I've recorded for you. Now, the minute it's all ending at a higher pitch, it's ending in a question mark for people. So people are wondering, are you asking me or are you telling me? That's the difference between how do you end your sentences. Okay, that's your pitch that you need to also keep focusing on. And this will come with practice, and it'll come just with awareness. Of course, when you're talking about volume, there are different volumes where you need to. So when you want to share something with a small group of people, obviously you can't be shouting at the top of your voice. But when you are in a situation where, let's say you're out of the house and there's a lot of noise around you, and maybe you're on the ground floor and somebody's standing on the second floor, obviously that volume is going to be much higher. But the fact is that you need to understand this. You need to be as loud such that the last person sitting in that auditorium, let's say you're talking in an auditorium, the last person sitting in that auditorium is able to hear you very, very clearly. That's when you will truly start understanding. And you have to be as soft as the first row person should not feel like, oh my God, this is, the person is shouting on the top of their voice. So that volume also, when it comes to sharing different types of messages, when you want to share something a little more powerfully, you need to be able to drop to a lower pitch, and you need to let that voice come out powerfully from your diaphragm. That also talks about volume, going higher and lower. Because if you're constantly talking at a very, very loud volume, then people will not understand whether it's an important point. Every point then sounds the same for them. So you need to be able to go to a low volume, then higher volume, and you need to be able to mix it up a little. How many of you are with me at this point in time? These are, what's the difference between a pitch and volume? Pitch is, high pitch is when you're literally screeching and it's going very high, and this is your low pitch. But this can also be extremely loud. Are you understanding the difference now? Between no, not really understanding the difference. Okay, so pitch is when, you have singers, they hit the high octaves. Like when they go really high, they go like, whatever, high. And then when you go, and you go low. So you'll go, A, I, O, U. Now, E was high pitch and U was low pitch. But you can actually have different volume. You can vary the volume even in high pitch and low pitch. Generally speaking, high pitch is sometimes very, very loud and it's shrieky. And therefore, people say that variation is very crucial. How many of you have met people with a very high pitched, shrieky voice, and they only speak at that high pitch all the time? They never really take their pitch very low. That's also very dangerous. Okay. Now, again, varying your volume to fit that message. So when you want to send out a very strong message, a message where you are the authority, you want people to know that you are the authority, that's when your volume can be higher, but your pitch can be lower. You drop down and you have a slightly more bass voice. That's your pitch. Okay. Understand, if you want to do this, have this variation in your voice and in your tonality, you need to have good breath support. And therefore, at the start of a sentence, if you can take in a breath and then start practicing releasing that breath slowly towards the end of the sentence, and then again giving it a breath pause to take in a breath again, instead of constantly getting stuck for your breath. That's the right way of breathing. And believe me, I have been able to share this very, very nicely in the videos that I have shared with you in the Power of Voice. So please go through those videos, practice some of those exercises, because those are very crucial when it comes to how do you build your diaphragmatic breath support. How do you build taking in a deep breath and speaking from the diaphragm instead of speaking from your throat and speaking from your chest, because this area makes your voice very raspy. But when you speak from your diaphragm, it makes your voice very powerful. Okay. And that's why I always say that, that's your optimum breath. When you breathe in right up to your diaphragm, and then you're releasing your air in such a way that your voice is also coming out from the diaphragm. Actually, the voice comes out from your larynx, right? But it's because of the air that's coming out from the almost the pit of your stomach. That's why it becomes a lot more powerful. And you can try it out even right now. Speak from here and it will start hurting, but you take in a deep breath and you throw your voice from your diaphragm, and this area will be unaffected. You will not feel any pain. You will not feel like you're using your throat. You will feel your stomach muscles tightening. And that's when you know that you're truly letting your voice out from your diaphragm, okay, from deep down. And that's when your voice will also be fuller. It will have a lot more power. How many of you are able to understand the things that I'm mentioning right now about voice? Are you with me? If you're with me, give me a WU in the comment box if you're with me. Because this is extremely crucial when it comes to making people understand your message with the help of your voice tonality. Good. Super. If you people are not understanding, then please give me an NU and tell me what you're not understanding, which part you're not understanding, because it's all about understanding how to use your voice effectively. All right. Now, let's now go to a very, very crucial area again in voice, which is your pace. How fast you speak, how slow you speak makes all the difference. How many of you here always find yourself speaking very, very fast? Do you speak very, very fast? And especially so when you're in front of people, you tend to speak very fast. Give me a fast in the comment box, or give me an F in the comment box. Yes, Neha. Now, that's exactly where I'm coming from. When you speak very fast, people feel like you're underconfident. People feel like you want to get this over and done with, and you do not actually wait to connect with people. People feel like you don't have the confidence in yourself and you don't value whatever you're sharing with them enough to take your own sweet time to share those things with them. Did the penny drop right now? Because you're not speaking fast because you're in the habit of speaking fast. A lot of you are speaking fast because you want to get it over and done with. You're low on confidence. You don't think that your content has that much value that you can take people's time. You can consume people's time. Yes, there you go. Feeling of people won't listen to me completely, and therefore let me speak fast and let me get it over with. You don't value your own, whatever you're going to share with people, and you don't value yourself. Nice. Okay, so concept of diaphragm, voice tonality, but you tried but you could not speak. Okay, fine. Let's all do this exercise, okay? Take in a deep breath and keep one hand on your stomach. Please keep one hand on your stomach and take in a deep breath and visualize that your lungs are like, either visualize a balloon or visualize a vase. When you pour water into a vase, which part of the vase fills in first? The lower part of the vase, correct? So that's a little more visual. And when you're breathing in, feel like your lungs are that vase where the lowermost part of your lungs is going to fill up with air first, and then your entire lungs are going to fill up with air. All right. So take in a deep breath, keep one hand on your stomach, take in a deep breath. And okay, before even you take a deep breath, let me do this without the deep breath. Okay. Just say, as you are, just say A-E-I-O-U and say it till your last breath. Don't take on a deep breath right now. So first do this exercise. A-E-I-O-U. Let it go. All right. Now feel the difference in the voice. And now take that deep breath in, like the vase filling up with water. Focus and notice that your lungs are filling up with air. Okay. And now keep your hand on your stomach. And now go A-E-I-O-U and literally feel like your hand going in as you're pushing out that air from the stomach. All right. So taking a deep breath again. A-E-I-O-U. And let it out completely. Now, I want to ask Mohit, if you did this properly and did you feel like your stomach muscle was tightening? How many of you could feel, first and foremost, the difference in your voice and the fact that you were pushing it up from your diaphragm, from your stomach muscles? Did you feel that? And did you listen to that difference in your voice? How many yeah, that's where I'm coming from. That is the difference. And that difference can only be felt when you're conscious about, let me breathe in fully and let me tighten my stomach muscles while I'm letting out that breath. And that's when you know that your breath is supporting your voice. It's not not gut feeling. The breath is supporting your voice. It's not your throat and your poor vocal cords are the only thing supporting your voice. Because at the end of a whole day of speaking, if you're speaking from here or if you're speaking from your chest area, or you have shallow breathing, you are definitely going to get a sore throat, and your throat is going to ache at the end of even 2 hours or 4 hours of continuous speaking. So please understand that your breath needs to be deep, and you need to be tightening your stomach muscles and letting the air out. Okay, you have to be able to focus on it, Medha. This will only come with practice, and I have to keep consciously telling myself, I have to consciously when I'm talking, I have to feel my stomach muscle tighten, and that's when I realize that, okay, the voice is coming from here. Otherwise, it's a little bit of a raspy voice. You will be able to instantly feel the difference in your voice. How many of you are already with, and you can practice even right now while I'm talking, do that A-E-I-O-U again and feel the difference in your voice, feel the power in your voice, and feel the tightening of your stomach muscles. That's when you know that you're really using your diaphragm to breathe in, and then your voice is coming out from a much stronger place. Okay, if this part is understood, let's go further. When you're talking about pacing, you need to really be able to pace yourself because it matters. Now, can everybody see this? When you are very, very slow, that's when your listeners will get very bored easily. Okay. And when you're very, very fast and every single word is coming out one after the other like a bullet, and you have absolutely no pauses in between whatever you're speaking, that's when people can really not take your information anymore. They will feel like they're badgered with a lot of information and they will switch off. So both the cases are not very good. You have to pace it up. Certain times in your talk, go really, really fast because those are maybe not such important points and you can mention them fast, and then really slow it down and make that very crucial point. Give those pauses because that's when information is really going to sink in. And at other times, make sure that you're speaking at an even pace. You're speaking at a medium pace, not very fast, not very slow, and try and consciously spice it up, because again, only one pace will make it super boring. So again, go slightly fast, go very slow, and then bring it back to medium pace. That is exactly how I want you to practice pacing. How many of you are able to understand the importance of pacing? Yes, you were not aware of this. You felt it, but you were not aware of this amazing concept behind it, because nobody really introduces us to diaphragmatic breathing. Nobody introduces us to how important it is for our voice to be powerfully coming from the diaphragm. And that's where your volume, your power, everything comes from there. And when you're conscious about that, your pacing also, can I tell you something? When you speak very, very fast, you're also not breathing diaphragmatically. You are doing a lot of, shallow breathing, and you speak very, very fast. And that's when you will stumble over your own words. And one more thing will happen there. you will start getting breathless very soon. Your voice will not sound as powerful either. So therefore, the pacing, all of this is interconnected, guys. Therefore, the pacing is very crucial. How many of you have got this? Give me a got it in the comment box. Give me a GT in the comment box. Wow. Kavya, if you write such long ones now, it becomes very difficult. But I'm not able to do it. So how should I speak at a medium pace? Okay. Used to speak really fast, but when took feedback, they said, now, so what you can do is, Kavya, try and time yourself. Okay, in one, now you'll have to really, you prepare a 200 word document, prepare your content, and then time yourself. How much time are you taking to, deliver those 200 words? Time yourself. And if you are finishing your 200 words in 1 minute, oh my God, you are going at bullet train speed. Girl, you really got to slow it down. If you're doing 50 words in 1 minute, you are going super slow. So you really have to kind of increase your pace. Anywhere between 110 to 120 to 130 words per minute is very good. So let's take that range as 110 to 130 words per minute could be a good measure of how can you pace yourself. And that could be a medium pace. Kavya, tell me whether this makes sense. Can each and every one of you try this out? Because then pacing will become super easy. Yeah, pacing will become super easy, and you'll be able to understand what is super high speed and what is extremely low speed, right? Yes, Sarvana, it should be a good speed. You also have to understand what kind of an audience are you speaking to, because your pace will also depend on the audience that you're speaking to. You speak very, very slow to a very highly informed audience, they might get a little bored. But you speak at this rate, let's say 100, 110, 120 speed to an audience who's probably listening to a lot of these things for the first time, they will get you and they will really thank you for it. Okay, so again, your audience, so when your audience is mixed, then you got to keep it a mixed pace. Are you understanding? So then everybody feels like they are getting something and they're all involved and you are appealing to everybody. That's what a great communicator does. You need to know that your audience is always going to be a mix of everybody. Got that? All right. Now, you can actually control the energy of your audience with your pace as well. So if you feel like the energy in the room is going low, then, maybe increase your volume a little bit and also bring that energy on with slightly more power in your voice, and also increase the pace just a little. Because when you increase the pace just a little, that could also get the energy back on. If people are distracted, then you do absolutely the opposite. You stop talking. You give it a pause, because when you give it a pause and people can't hear things being said, they become super focused and they stop talking amongst themselves and they're like, okay, the person is standing there, not saying anything. Something is up. How many of you have noticed that this has happened? Maybe it's happened with you. Like maybe it's happened when you were in the audience, and maybe it's happened when you were in front of people as well, right? So that's where you will really need to figure out how you can actually make this happen. Okay, so bring in that variety, mix it up, spice it up, and to convey confidence, speak. If you're in the habit of speaking very fast, tone it down and speak slowly if you want to come across as a confident speaker. Because when you slow your pace down, you are telling people that I have the authority to have, and I have enough value in my content so that I can take up your time. Too fast, associated with nervousness. Okay. And that's again when people are saying that, oh my God, this person really wants to finish off whatever it is that they're saying. How many of you have been able to find the value in whatever it is that I've shared so far? Give me a V in the comment box if you found value and you know that you can implement this, right? You know that you can use this. If that's happened, give me a V in the comment box, right? Nice. I want everybody to respond because this is the only way. If your cameras are not on, if I can't listen into you, then this is the only way through your comments that I know that, okay, we're on track, that people are finding this useful, because this, your voice is part of your nonverbal communication. Remember it always. Now, some of the benefits of improving your speech pace or your talk or your content pace are these. People, when you speak with an appropriate pace, they are more interested in what you're saying. And therefore, they become a lot more attentive to whatever it is that you're dishing out. They are able to comprehend, to understand the message that you are communicating, because you're doing it at an even pace, and you're also adding pauses. You're also adding questions which are making them think. Because when you're only giving them statements, you're not allowing their brain to process the information with a question. How many of you can understand this? That when is your brain working the most? When somebody gives you a flat statement, or the minute a question is asked? In the first, technique, flat statement, or the second technique, which is questions being asked? When is your brain working maximum? Share with me, first or second? People are saying, okay, question, very good. Awesome. And that is the right answer. Because ask yourself this. Whenever I ask you a question, or whenever you ask yourself a question, or whenever somebody asks a question which is not necessarily pointed at you, doesn't your brain start thinking about the answer? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no in the comment box. Okay, so Ishika, you're saying the first one, statements are not as powerful as questions, my darling. Statements are just statements. They can mean something to people, they may not mean something to people, but questions, you want to respond. As a human being, you are hardwired in such a way that whenever a question is asked, you want to respond. You want to give an answer. And that is why the questions are literally working your brain more. Yes, they intrigue people. They're right about that. They make people think. They intrigue people. They can, people start, yeah, very good. Questions make you more accountable. Fantastic. Very good. Right? So like I always say, the brilliance is not in me. The brilliance is in the room, and you're my room. The brilliance is in all of you. And when you people start sharing your thoughts as well on the chat, that's when most of us, hey, hello, I'm also constantly learning from you people. It's not just one-way track. Okay, it's always a two-way street. So people will be able to understand and comprehend when you're, when you pace out whatever it is that you're saying, right? And it's also a known fact that when you slow down your pace just a little, that's when your energy is relaxed. And when your energy is relaxed, you will also have that relaxed energy effect on your audience that you're speaking with. It could be one person, it could be 50 people, it could be 50,000 people. When your energy is relaxed, they will be relaxed when they're listening to you. And therefore, with that relaxed energy, when things are going in, it's going in a lot deeper. And fast pace also stands for higher energy. So when you want to bring that energy back in the room, that's when you use that slightly higher pace, that faster pace. And that's also when you will really be able to experience the magic of that high energy in the room. Okay, so please understand that these are very crucial benefits, and I really would like you to focus on these benefits. Okay, another very important thing which I also share in my heart to heart, if recently you remember attending my heart to heart, I share the power of the pause. When do you add a pause? Can people start sharing with me in the chat box? Why should you add the pause? And when, forget the why. When do you add the pause? I want you to share. When do you add a pause to make it what? After a deep thought, very good. When you ask a question, beautiful. Yes, pause. Wait for the answer. If it is an open-ended question means everybody will have a different answer. What did you have for snack this evening? Everybody will have a different answer. But this kind of a question, how many of you had a snack before you came to this session this evening? There could be, yes, I had a snack, or there could be, no, I did not have a snack. Two answers, yes and no. That's a closed-ended question. Okay, nice. So when you are after a deep thought, beautiful, you must pause so that that deep thought sinks in deeper. It's time to stop. Yeah, it's time to stop or take a pause and allow people to think, allow that information to sink in. When you're drinking water, take that pause, beautiful. That pause also allows people to let the information that has been shared thus far go deeper in, but it also lets people know that you are human, you're not a robot, that you're continuously only talking. So when you're human, when you cough and you take a pause, or when you want to have a sip of water, like right now, I want to have a sip of water and I will take the pause, right? What happens? You also, maybe some of you start feeling, okay, I haven't had a sip of water in a long time, and you take a sip of water as well. So it also allows mirroring to happen. And the minute you and your audience are mirroring each other, believe me, you've got a connect happening. Rapport building has happened beautifully. Mirroring can happen in one-on-one communication. Mirroring can also happen in one-to-many communication. Got that? So beautiful thought there, Saravana, about drinking water, because that's again, getting back to pausing for effect, but pausing for mirroring, expecting an answer, and therefore you've paused. Good. To add importance, very good. So just before you're about to share a very crucial point, you can pause. You can say, what I'm about to share right now is extremely crucial. Maybe you'd like to take this down. And then you share your crucial point. Just after sharing your crucial point, and once you finish sharing it, you say, all right, I want you to think about that for a few seconds. And how many of you could actually connect with whatever I've shared with you so far? Give me a me in the comment box. You can drop your voice, you can drop your pitch, and you can harness the power of that pause, right? Expecting the listener to affirm if understand. Yes. Before asking a question. Yes. Correct. You can speak further based on audience's response. Yes. Good. Creates a human connection. Very good. Suspense. Beautifully said. Now, pauses need to be added for suspense. Pauses need to be added for adding that dramatic effect. Pauses should ideally keep people on the edge of their seat. Okay? Nice. Nice. It just happened after you. Nice. There you go. Right? So that is exactly where I'm coming from as far as the pause is concerned. And I always say, if you want to master your audience, then master your pauses. Make your pause powerful. Because normally people get scared to pause because they feel like they will lose people's attention when they pause. People get scared to pause because they feel like people will start thinking many different things when you pause. The pause is crucial in order for your message to have a flow. Pauses make it more powerful. Instead of using hesitation and your fillers what I mean is, stop. Pause. It is okay to pause even up to 4 to 5 seconds. It's not just about pausing for 1 second or 2 seconds. You can hold a longer pause. Depends on what you've just shared with them. Okay, so when you want to add that depth, when you want to add that drama in your talk, when you want to add that dimension to your talk, like the flow as well, that's when you will really start using your pauses beautifully. Okay, sorry, there you go. So again, pauses are showing that I have the command and the authority to take up your time. Yes, Balbon. Nice, Nitin. In order to master that, even those hesitations and the fillers, use the pause. Remind yourself, become aware. And you're adding all these aspects in order to, you're also adding that pause in order to keep them on the edge of their seat. Take the right pauses, but it's not about pause when, let's say, you have made a very crucial point and people are so inspired by that point that they want to actually clap. Wait, pause, feel the applause, appreciate that they are appreciating you because they feel. I just saw it very recently. Very recently at an event that I was hosting, there was one speaker. She was very powerful. She was sharing her life story. And every single time she made a brilliant point, people started applauding. And do you know what she did? And I told her this later on, that I need you to stop doing this. She did this. Basically telling people that it's okay, please don't applaud. Maybe applaud later. She did this, and it was a very subconscious thing because she did not want people to applaud her. Maybe because she felt, I'm not greater than you. I'm just like you. I've just, taken a leap above my situations, but people wanted to applaud that. And she didn't realize it at that point in time. And she must have done this close to about 10 times during her 12-minute talk. When she came off the stage, I knew that she had moved people with her talk. So I shared with her, I said, wow, this is amazing. What you've done, look at people, they're tearing up. What you've done is phenomenal. And I want you to take it even to a next level, to a higher level now. And I want you to become aware that when you make a crucial point which goes in deep, people want to really applaud you, you do this. And you tell them that you don't need to applaud for me. And you won't believe this. I'm sharing this because I want you to know, no names right now. This was a closed door event. Okay. It was an event for my mentors community. Okay. But this person, so Sangeeta, at a later date, I might be able to share. She's not a very public person. And the things that she shared there, she didn't want to actually share in a public forum either. Okay. Because she's in that line of business. All right. And there was a person standing next to us and she said, Pallavi, what you shared was so crucial because the minute she did this, I didn't want to applaud, the next time that I felt like, wow, this is such a beautiful point. I didn't feel like applauding for her. And I could literally feel the applause go lower and lower after every time she kept doing this. And then she realized, oh, yes, I did this. So that's where I'm coming from. That when you are getting applauded, when you're being introduced by somebody and people are applauding you, take the applause. When you make a super point, take the applause, take that pause. When you crack a joke or when you say something really amazing, say something really humorous, and people are laughing, let people laugh. Let people finish the laughter. Because they get very, very few moments in life where they can really laugh during a presentation or during a connection. Let them laugh. Take that as a pause, because when they're laughing, that point that you've made through your humor is also going in deep. That means you're a good storyteller. Accept it, acknowledge it, pat yourself on the back, and then move on after people have finished laughing or after people have finished applauding. To how many of you this point has also added that, that it was a Balbon? Because a lot of times we don't do this. And another thing, if you're getting recorded, suppose you're a speaker and you're getting recorded, do you know that the mic will not be able to capture your words as nicely? Because people are still applauding and you started talking. People are still laughing and you started talking. How many of you realize that? And that's also why I say, use the pause. Another way to use the pause. When you are, suddenly something happened and you lost your flow of thought. Take a pause. Go back to your cue card or go back to your iPad, your tab, your laptop, whatever. Look at the next pointer or ask a question. How many of you have been able to understand whatever I've shared so far? And while they're answering, like while they're raising their hands or you're getting their answers, take that pause, kind of get your thoughts together again and start speaking again. You're back on track. Makes sense? Give me an MS in the comment box. If all this that I've shared so far has been able to make sense, give me an MS in the comment box. Nice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right? And that's why I always say, when you master the pause, that's when you master your audience. And nobody teaches you how to master the pause. How to take pauses in YouTube videos and not live things. Very nice, very good question. Even in virtual live sessions, take pauses. Similar thing. But instead of taking a 4-5 second pause, instead of taking a long pause, take a 2-second pause. What is 2 seconds? Done. 2 seconds is done. It's only in our head that we feel, "Arey baap re, kitna lamba pause ho gaya." No, for the person who's listening, na, it's all coming like bullets. Arey hello, खड़ जाओ यार, थोड़ी देर सांस ले लो, मुझे भी understand करने दो. How many of you have felt like this when you've been watching somebody's videos, or you've been watching a YouTube thing, or you've been watching some content and you feel बहुत fast जा रहा है. If these subtitles were not there, I would have like lost it. Yeah. Yes. So you don't want this to happen in your case when you are a speaker. Okay, got that, everybody? If this has, your voice modulation and the effect and the ability to pause and therefore create that interest, create that understanding of your message has gone deep, give me a GD in the comment box. Has it gone deep? All of this that we've spoken about so far, about voice, about modulation, about, when it comes to pausing. Yes? Nice. Pace, all of that, right? Super. Let's also now move to another very, very crucial area that I honestly feel is such a massive, massive area, or, where we can start impacting people. And I'm going to share, one more thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share certain links with you people to watch as well. Please watch those links, because those links will also give you a little more knowledge. When you're introducing someone, how do you pause? Okay, so when you're introducing someone from stage, every line should literally create more and more suspense. Never give out the name of the person before you introduce the person. Maybe start with a nice quote to introduce the person, and then talk about the person's credentials and the latest credentials or the latest designation. Put the designation first, say, and now let me introduce to you the CEO of Charismatic Communicators Hub, tuck, tuck, tuck. Name after that. Got it? If it is virtually, same formula. But when you're pacing it out, every time you are, talking about the person, every point should be so crucial. You should not be reading out their introduction just like that. And before you actually say, ladies and gentlemen, I would like every single one of you to give a big round of applause if you're in the live thing, or I would like you to welcome in the chat box with a lot of your welcome messages somebody who has influenced me big time, the CEO of da, so and so, so and so, so and so. That's the name of the person. Let's say my name is Pallavi Valia Raj. And that's, so just before you're giving out the last one, pause. In between suppose your introduction is a long one, pause after every 2-3 pointers. Take a pause, 1 or 2 seconds. Let it sink in, no baba. And then just before revealing the name of the person, 1 second, 2 second pause, and then reveal with a more powerful voice and with that kind of fanfare, right? Yeah, you can also do this. Pallavi Valia Raj. Absolutely, you can, right? Nice. All right. Yes, of course, I'm going to share those links in the WhatsApp group, not here, okay, because it might get lost here, right? All right. Now, let's move on to a very, very crucial aspect in nonverbal communication, which is body language. Now, what is body language? Okay, I'm going to share this. Okay, I've just put this link in, but I'm going to share this with you. It is the language that your body speaks. Without you even opening your mouth, You are already giving out a message to people. How many of you can relate with this? Where you've not, the person you've just met has not even opened his or her mouth. You haven't even opened your mouth. And when you meet the person, either you just really like the person, you feel that connect, or you feel something in your gut. It's a physical feeling that, oh my God, this is not, I really don't want to know that person. Do you feel like this even before the person has opened their mouth? Has any of you experienced this with people? Yes. Then in different situations, when you are being introduced, when you're being interviewed, when you are in the presence of people who are, who you look up to as mentors, there is a particular body language, and that body language of yours, if people are able to read it, and if you are a good reader of body language, you will be able to understand what is the person feeling right now. Yes. So when they are showing up confident gestures, then yes, of course, or when they're showing approachable gestures. And what are those approachable? Not just gestures, when their entire being, their body is very approachable. What do you mean by approachable? There is that curve, that crooked line on the face. Maybe that smile is reaching the eyes and it's not just which is like just, I'll show that to you. When your smile really reaches the eyes, that's when the sides of your eyes crinkle a little bit. And when it's just a very superficial smile, you'll just find people do. And that's not a genuine smile. You know it because it hasn't reached the eyes. You're feeling nothing in the eyes. That's when you know, oh God, why do you smile only? Yaar? Just don't smile at all. Okay, that's the kind of, so that is approachable. Then their body is open, which means they're not sitting cross-armed like that. Their body is open. They're not standing in a way where their legs are crossed over like across each other like Krishna stands, right? When he's playing the Bansuri, it's not happened like that. They're open. Their body language is open. And they are angled towards you if you're being introduced to them. That's when you know that this person is approachable, and that's that's when you feel that vibe, because all of us are energy bodies. The energy, everybody is vibrating with a particular energy, and the body language is giving away that energy as well. So through your body language, you're also giving your energy away. Okay, I mean, making people know what energy you carry. So that creates visual meanings, right? Body language creates visual meanings. And what is the most impactful in terms of communication? Visual messaging is the most impactful. That is why body language and appearance, which give visual meaning to you and to your message, that is why it has 55% weightage when it comes to people understanding the intention of your message or understanding your message as a whole. A lot of people who unfortunately got disconnected at this point in time missed out on this. Why does body language and appearance have such a massive impact on your message? Because visual meanings are more impactful. That's how our human brain thinks a lot in terms of visuals and images. And you're creating that image and that visual through your body language and your appearance. Posture is very, very key. It's very important, right? Now, what do you mean by this? When you keep your spine erect, this is poor posture. When you're slouched, you have a flat back. When you have a balanced upright posture, that's very good, even as a speaker, but even as somebody who's listening to the person, you are giving the vibe that you're interested in what the person is saying. Otherwise, if you're slouched like that and listening to me like that, like let's say, okay, I'm talking to you and you're listening like this. Do you really feel like I'm going to get the energy from you? What if I was speaking to you like this? Okay, let's speak today, right now, about non-verbal communication. Do you really feel like you would even want to listen to me? I think you would leave the session within the first 30 seconds, right? How many of you can agree with me when I say this? So that is how important your posture is, right? Whether you're sitting, whether you're standing, whether you're walking. And that's why I need you to focus on it when it comes to body language. Then when you're sitting up straight, that person is focused, that person is paying attention. That's what you feel in whatever is going on. That person is involved. Okay, when you're sitting in a hunched forward kind of a position, that's when the person comes across as boring and indifferent. Body language cues. Even as a listener, you need to be very careful about what kind of body language are you using, because that also gives energy or doesn't give energy to the speaker. So sometime or the other, you're also going to be at that other end, right? You're also going to be receiving somebody else's energy through the way that they are giving you energy when you're going to be a speaker. So what if you're a listener right now? That is why I say listener as well as speaker, दोनों की body language बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी होती है. And therefore I speak from both ends, not just only when you are communicating end. Okay, because even as a listener, you're communicating. How many of you can understand that? How many of you believe in that even as a listener, you are communicating? Because communication doesn't happen as a one-way street. It happens as a two-way street. Somebody is speaking, somebody is listening, and there is a message that is going, back and forth as well, right? Open postures, they indicate friendliness, they indicate willingness, they indicate that people want to be able to. So this is your closed posture, arms crossed. You have armrests, but your elbows are not on the armrest, they're inside the armrest. That means underconfident. Crossed, I'm closed, underconfident. Or it could also mean that I'm unfriendly. Your legs are also crossed. But now look at when you're sitting with an open posture, your arms are rested on the armrest. Your feet are slightly further apart and your arms are also open. They're not crossed over. And that allows people to feel like you are open, you're friendly, you're willing to communicate, you're approachable. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. And it also shows your anxiety. It also shows that you are closed-minded as a person. It also shows the rigidity in mindset. It shows that you do not have an open mind when you're sitting with closed posture. Can you imagine how much people can read into your body language? And therefore, when you're speaking, I always tell people, speak with open palms, speak with, open body language. Do not cross over like that, like Krishna, when you're standing in front of people and speak. Don't do that. You're giving out, every single thing in your body is giving out a message. Right? Your hand gestures are so crucial. They bring your words to life. Now look at all these hand gestures. What do these hand gestures? Now, when you want to say peace, when your palm is pointed towards the person, this is the right kind of victory gesture or peace gesture. This is in some countries, when the back of your palm is showing to people, in some countries, this is a very vulgar gesture. Do you realize that when you are speaking with people, this is a very vulgar gesture in some cultures? Now, this universally is a very, very good, open, peaceful victory. Hey, peace. That kind of a gesture. We're good. That kind of a gesture. Okay. So please understand these subtleties. If you're traveling to another country, please do your research about what kind of gestures are appropriate in that kind of country or to that kind of an audience. Suppose you're speaking in the United Nations, suppose you're speaking in Europe, suppose you're speaking in, in America, wherever you're speaking, whichever part of the world people you're connecting with, you need to understand those gestures mean a lot. Your gestures add life to your words. When you want to say, definitely this is the gesture that you're going to be using. When you're talking, when you use finger pointed gestures, they are very, very, they look like they're very rude. Okay, you're rude when you're pointing a finger. And therefore I say to people, when you want to point as a speaker, point with your entire palm and open palm, like your palm is facing upwards. Point like that instead of pointing like this. You come across as a very dominant, but a very, this person is, very domineering, always giving instructions kind of a person. But when you point like this with open palm and also, pointing towards the person doesn't feel bad about the pointing at the person. That's not called pointing. Yeah. Okay. You come across as bossy, you come across as controlling. Okay. When you're showing the finger. Okay. So gestures play a very, very important part in whatever your message is. Okay. There, this kind of a gesture, it can say stop, it can say hello, bas, enough, stop speaking, whatever be the case. You can thud like on the table that you're speaking. That could be a power gesture, or when you talk about it and you give a fist in the air, that could be a different kind of a gesture altogether. And all of these gestures are something that I cover very, very categorically. So don't worry about these kind of things, right? The point is that I am trying to tell you, you need to start using gestures when you speak to people, because that's when you start understanding as a speaker, as a person, you need to start using gestures. Why? This is the answer. Your message has better recall. People are able to connect whatever you spoke with what gestures you were using. And you can emphasize in different areas. You can use these kind of gestures to emphasize, or these kind of gestures to emphasize on that point. Do you realize why gestures are so crucial? Why using your hands is very crucial in terms of giving that message out. And your message has 85% more recall. How many of you would love it for your people to retain your message so much more? 85% recall is not a joke. Most people can't recall 5% after about 25-30 minutes, or after about 2 days. It remains to only about anywhere between 0 to 5% of your message. The minute you're animated, you're using facial expressions, you're using hand gestures, the minute you know how to take your body close to them in a live scenario or in a virtual scenario, the minute you realize how to use those pauses, where to make them, comment in the comment box, those points go deep. They really sink in. And that's very crucial when it comes to sharing your message with people. Okay, let's move further. We can use our fingers to indicate. I always say this, please, this is one of the power gestures that most leaders in the world use. When you're sharing pointers with people, share first point, give it, use your fingers. Second point, you know why? Because words are just falling on the ears. But now when the words along with the gesture is falling on the ears as well as the eyes, the brain is capturing this information with two beautiful, strong faculties, the ears as well as the eyes. It becomes audio visual. And that is the reason why today is not the age so much of just radio. It's also the age of the audio visual. But a lot of times when you are an auditory listener, when you are not an auditory listener, sorry, you're an auditory learner, where people can only understand with, the first connection to their brain is just through the words. That's when you love the podcasts. But that's also why people started even telecasting podcasts as an audio visual, because there are so many visual people out there in the world who understand. Their learning is first through their eyes. Their first connection to their brain is through their eyes. So when it's audio visual, they're learning through their eyes as well as through their ears. Sorry. How many of you can understand why I'm sharing all this information? Is it crucial for you? Is it crucial for you as a communicator? Give me a CC in the comment box. If this is crucial information for you as a communicator, give me a CC in the comment box. If you're with me, understanding, and you realize that this is all crucial information. Yeah, nice. Thank you so much. So use your fingers to indicate numbers, pointers, whatever be the case, right? Thumbs up and thumbs down, approval and disapproval, yes, okay. But in some cultures, thumbs up, not a very, very good, not a harmless hand gesture. No, it's not. In some cultures, this means something totally different. So read up, right? V sign, they always use like this. They'll never use the V sign like this. So when your palm is showing to the audience, that's when the V sign becomes victory, peace, all of that. Okay. So you will start noticing these things, everybody, right? Now, next thing, of course, So like I said, some gestures are cultural, right? Now you need to keep your gestures very spontaneous, so also choreograph whatever it is. So that is the reason why I say practice. When you have a content piece to deliver, practice it, not in front of a mirror, because that is not going to give you any feedback. Practice it in front of a camera, record yourself, even if it's a phone camera, and see what part of your body is being seen, and therefore where do I need to make my gestures happen. Now I'll tell you what, when you are in the live audience setup, people are seeing your entire body maybe, right? Never go behind the podium and speak, because that's when you're putting a barrier between you and people. Your communication is broken, your connection is broken because of that podium. So always come away from the podium, let them see you full frontal, turn your laptop a little towards you so that you can, turn your head and just see the next pointer, and you're sorted. And you have full on communication with your entire body, as well as with your words and with your voice modulation. And that's when you're communicating 100% with your audience. It's not at a 50%. Are you getting it? Now, when you're in a live audience scenario, your gestures need to happen anywhere between your shoulders and your navel area. That's where your massive gestures should happen. But now I'm in a virtual setup. Who's even seeing up to my waist area, correct? So where should my gestures happen when I'm in the virtual setup? It has to happen between the start of your ears and till wherever you're seen. So let's say you're seen up to your shoulders. This is where your gestures should happen. This should be your gesture box. But in a live scenario, your gesture box has to be from your shoulders up to your waist area in a live scenario. That's where your gestures need to happen. Above the head, no, not necessary. No, see, even in virtual, you will miss the gestures above the head. Not at all. Only when you're raising your hand even in a live audience scenario, when you say with a raise of hands, how many of you are understanding this? Raise your hands fully. But in a virtual scenario, raise your hands like this if you want people to raise your hands and everybody's camera is on. Otherwise, get them to chat in the chat box. How many of you are understanding this? Give me a yes in the comment box. That's how your communication changes. Okay, nice. Thank you, Sarvana, for sharing a yes, right? That's how your communication changes in live vis-a-vis a virtual. And that is something that I definitely do when I take you to the next level, which is my diamond level, right? I'm making you people do, how do you communicate from stage? Every inch of it is covered. How do you make sales calls from stage? Like, how do you sell from stage, and how do you communicate virtually, and how do you have that sales mastery, even if you're doing something virtually, even if you're a online coach or a consultant or whatever. And that is why it is crucial. Communication mein yahi sab to hai. It's not just about, okay, tell me how to speak, tell me how to write an email, and that's it. No, this is the most important aspect, right? Okay, super. Let's move forward. You're focusing your energy in your gesture box. Then you have virtually the gesture box is up to from ears up to your shoulders, and live mein your gesture boxes are from your shoulders up to your navel and waist area. You're focusing your energy in that space, and that's when people are really getting connected. Okay. Now, avoid masking, covering any part of your body. Like, when you're speaking, don't speak like this. Or don't, touch some part of your body and speak. You're actually showing that you're nervous. Don't have your hands in your pocket while you're speaking. It does not show confidence. Unlike a lot of corporate pictures that you see. Some of the corporates also get it wrong, just by the way. So this is very, very okay, very, bossy. I'm in command kind of a situation where you're folded arms, but it's also giving other signals, which is that I am closed to communication. I am not approachable. I am rigid in my mindset. So therefore, when you are even masking your body in terms of, like touching yourself or having your hands in your pocket while speaking to people, when your hands and your palms are not seen while speaking to people, people do not connect with you, and they do not trust you. That's the simple long and short of body language. Your palms, your hands, every inch of your body, if it is the more it is seen, the more is the connect. That is why interviews happen across the desk, because they want to create that difference between the interviewer and the interviewee. How many of you suddenly had a bulb on moment when I said this? And that is why when we talk about meeting people and discussing ideas, we do not have desks in between people. We generally have a low table and people are seated around that, so therefore that doesn't act as a barrier. How many of you are getting this? So when you mask or when you cover some parts of your body, that is when you are showing that you're hiding something or that you're nervous. Loads of things can be read into it. So reach out with your arms when you're speaking. Keep your palms facing upwards when you're speaking. That increases your connection with the audience. You need to be able to start seeing how some of these really, really amazing leaders, top world leaders, also speak with people. Okay, guys, I want to be able to ask you, okay, because body language again is a topic which takes up some time, right? I want to be able to ask you whether you would like me to finish this off, because what I have for you right now is eyes, your facial expressions, and then just a little bit of a recap. Can I finish this off today? How many of you are okay with that? Okay with me finishing it off today? Give me an okay in the comment box, because it's just a little bit over your, it's a little bit over your time of 9:30, but I'm not going to rush it. I'm not rushing anything. Yes? Is that okay? Yeah. So maybe if you need to take your dinner, go ahead, take your dinner and come and, listen to whatever is being shared, because that's, you being involved in the conversation is crucial. When it comes to your eyes, they are your first connection. Without even touching somebody else, you've already made a physical contact. Physical, but not this way physical, like not a handshake. Before your handshake also, your eyes have actually connected to the other person's soul. How many of you realize that? So that is the quickest way of establishing a connect with people. Okay, and very, very awesome connect if you are maintaining eye contact, proper eye contact with people. When you are evaluating other people's body language also, the eyes, the eye signals become very crucial. Where are they looking? Are they looking at you in the eye, at your eyes? Are they looking in all different directions when you're speaking with them? Are they looking at their watch when you're speaking with them? Are they focused on what is happening in the rest of the room? Are they looking at their mobile when you're speaking with them? Their eyes are giving away how invested are they in this conversation with you. And when you're speaking virtually, your camera lens, everybody just touch your camera lens at this point in time. Your camera lens becomes the eyes of the person I am speaking with. Right now, if I'm speaking with Anu, this is my camera lens. These are Anu's eyes for me. Right now, if I'm speaking with Kavya, these are Kavya's eyes for me. Right now, when I'm speaking to Rajita, these are Rajita's eyes for me. You cannot look at the screen and look at people on the screen and wait for their reactions and miss out on them actually connecting to you deeper, because you've missed out looking at the camera lens, which is actually their eyes. That's something that you really need to focus on. And when you are speaking with people, in a small group, you're looking at people's eyes and you are shifting after every 3-4 seconds. You're shifting from one person to the other. Suppose it's a 5 people or a 10 people group. You're every 4-5 seconds, you're shifting your eye contact and including everybody in that conversation. When you're speaking from stage and it's a larger audience, let's say it's 50 people, 100 people, 5,000 people, that's when you are using your upper torso and you're just shifting, you're moving your upper torso like a lighthouse, and you're looking in one direction, and everybody in that direction, whoever is seated in that direction, feels like you're looking at them directly. Then when you actually move your upper torso and come to the center, everybody in the center feels like you're looking at them. When you move from there to this portion wherever people are sitting, and you're nodding and you're speaking, everybody in that section feels like, oh, wow, she's connecting with me and she's speaking directly to me, or he's speaking directly to me, right? How to get their attention back from where? Sangeeta, I didn't understand that question, right? So if you can help me understand that question better, I would be able to definitely answer better, right? So please understand, how do you get their attention back when you're speaking with them and they're looking all over the place? Is that what your question is? From the audience. Well, one thing I mentioned is, if you're speaking in front of a big audience and you're not getting their attention, the best thing to use is silence. Stand in that stage, in the center of that stage, full frontal, and just keep looking at the audience with a slight smile on your face. And sweep. And just be there. They will notice that there is silence, and therefore there is what? Oh my God, I'm chit-chatting, but there is somebody on that stage and they need to. That's a brilliant way of getting people's attention. In a virtual platform, when people's cameras are off, you really can't do much. But getting people's attention is asking them to type something in the comment box, asking a question, get their attention, right? When people are not looking at the camera and speaking, and they're actually, let's say you're sharing the screen with them, and let's say you're interviewing them also, you can ask them to look into the camera lens while speaking, so that other people who are listening to that conversation are also feeling like they are looking at those people and speaking. So you can actually do these kind of things. Now, what percentage of eye contact is good? I would say 65 to 75% of the time, when you're looking at people directly in the eyes and speaking with them, that's very good. If you're looking at them all 100% and not even blinking, they will feel intimidated, because they will feel, "Arey, kya yaar, idhar udhar dekhne mein nahi hota. This person is continuously just looking at me without blinking." Have you ever been in around such people who constantly keep gazing at you? Now that kind of eye contact, 100% eye contact is not required. 65 to 75% eye contact is very good when you're listening as well as when you're speaking. Both ways, 65 to 75% eye contact is very, very good. Okay? And when people are listening to you, or you're listening to somebody, or you're speaking with somebody, when you're looking each other in the eyes, that's when it indicates that the person who's speaking is speaking with that eagerness to share. The person who's listening is listening attentively. All right? So eye contact is very, very crucial. And when you have, eye contact constantly breaking, you're very shifty-eyed. You know how shifty-eyed people are? They will constantly, they will not focus. They will look here, they will look there, and just barely for 1 or 2 seconds, have you ever been with such people? Or they're not looking at you in your eyes. They're looking at, they're looking at what you're wearing in the neck. They're looking at what you've worn as your top, the top part of your body. They're looking at what kind of pants or whatever lower you've worn. They're looking at your shoes. They're looking at your watch. They're looking at maybe some part here where they're looking at probably your head. But 1 or 2 seconds they're looking into your eyes, and everything else is all about, okay, let me see, this person top to bottom. Or you've had people, they judge, correct. Or in terms of when you're looking at the opposite sex in that manner, then people are leching, and you can, as a good communicator, very politely tell them, up here. You can actually, I have done this with people. So when they are, as a woman, and if there is somebody out there who's looking at, my different body parts, I actually tell them, hi, I'm here. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Or are you admiring my clothes or my shoes? I'm very open when I'm saying that, but I also make it a point that I say it with a slight smile. Yes, I understand that is giving the message very directly, but you can't really help it. You have to say what you have to say. You have to be assertive in your communication. You can't just take everything. Are you getting it? Right? So another thing, when they're very distracted, when they're breaking that eye contact constantly, you will come across, if you're that kind of a person, shifty-eyed person, you will come across as either you want to hide your true feelings, or you're uncomfortable in that conversation, or you're distracted, or you're just not happy to be there. And you as a speaker, you as a communicator, can try to get their attention back. But if it's not happening, take the hint, get the clue, very politely say, hey, it was so awesome meeting you. Let's hopefully we'll catch up again in the rest of the evening, and leave. Elvis should leave the building at that point in time. Okay, because that conversation is not really happening two-sided. Everybody with me, people, are you with me? Give me a WU, every one of you. There are 23 of you right now on this call. Give me a with you if you are with me. If you're not understanding, give me a not NU, not understanding. Okay, please, because that's very crucial for me, right? Because these are the things that will make you a super, super awesome communicator. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Blinking, it's a very natural activity, right? But हाँ yes, क्योंकि आंखें बोलती हैं, बहुत जरूरी है आंखों का बोलना. When eyes don't speak ना, the person comes across as very hollow and very superficial. Only when the conversation, the smile, everything comes through your eyes, that's when you can actually connect with the person very, very deeply. Blinking is a natural activity, but look at what is happening here. When they are highly dilated, the pupils, that's when you feel like, okay, that person is paying attention and focused. When there's rapid blinking happening, that's when the person is either in distress or in discomfort, or is, thinking about something. There is some chatter going on in the head. There is lot of things going on in the head. They're in the head right now. They're not in the heart zone. They're not in the connecting zone. They are thinking about what next to say, or they're thinking about something else while you're speaking. How many of you have experienced this firsthand? Give me a me in the comment box. Yes, that's when the blinking becomes, unnatural, right? So this is where you need to, and when people are nervous also, they kind of blink a lot. You need to be able to understand that even blinking is an activity that is giving a message to people. All right, let's very quickly now move on to facial expressions, because this is a very, again, crucial aspect. Where are people looking at most of the time? Can you please help me understand in the chat box? Give it to me in the chat box. Where are people looking at most of the time when they are connecting with you? Where are they looking? Type in the chat box, please, your answer. This is called an open-ended question. Where are people looking at most of the time? Eyes, okay, eyes. Face, Abhishankar says. Who else? Nobody else? Hello, where are people? Sarveen says eyes, okay. Face, okay. Divya says face. Eyes, okay. Yes, so both of you are correct. And therefore, now eyes speak, but sometimes that comes a little later. Your facial expression, some of you have what what the world calls a poker face. This is my angry face, this is my sad face, this is my happy face, this is my rude face, this is my excited face, this is my passionate face, this is my romantic face, this is my every face. I have no expression at all, neither in my eyes nor in my face. How many of you have met such people? Wooden faced, poker faced. How many of you have seen such actors? Like everything is just one expression on their face. Yes, stone faced. Yes, correct. Wooden face, poker face, all of that means the same thing, right? And that is why I say that when you can start using your facial expressions to really start conveying your message, and then there is that alignment between what you are saying and what your words are saying and what your face is saying, that's when the message goes deep. That's when the connect happens massively. How many of you agree with that? Give me an agree in the comment box. So your facial expressions are very, very crucial. If you don't have facial expressions, you can start with exaggerated ones. Only when you start with exaggerated ones, you will prune it and you will tame it down as you become better and better at using your face. Abhi to agar use hi nahi kar rahe ho, to please start with exaggerated facial expressions and exaggerated hand gestures. It's okay. You'll start somewhere and I will help you graduate it to normal. But when you don't start anywhere, then how will anybody help? Correct? So that's where I'm coming from. All right. Now, next is, what's the only way that you will actually be more powerful and entertaining? Now, can you answer this in the chat box for me? Come on. These are questions for you. What is the only way that you'll be a lot more powerful and entertaining? What are we talking about at this point in time? Go ahead and share. What do you think? I'm waiting. A smile. Okay. Speech. Words amount only for 7% of your message said. Smile. Words. Guys, what are we talking about today? Through your facial expressions. Hey Baba, we are talking about non-verbal communication. No, your face, it has to express. Your body language, your gestures. Yes. That will make your talk, your words become much more powerful. It'll become very entertaining as well. How many of you feel like, acha, ye same words मैं बोलती रहती in this manner. No expression, no usage of my gestures, no usage. Okay, yes, there is voice modulation, but there's not much usage of my facial expressions. Do you really think that this would make so much of an impact? I am very passionate about helping children. If I would say this to somebody, where is the passion? I can't feel the passion. I can't see the passion. I am passionate about helping children, and I'm passionate about, doing something. It has to be seen in your facial expressions. How many of you are in agreement with this? Give me an agree. Will sound fake initially when you are beginning to do it. As you graduate, that's when you're able to use it to the T. But if you're not using it at all, Rajita, do you really think that's also a great way of communicating? Not using facial expressions at all? Stressing on the words, but stressing on the words happens through voice tonality, and it also happens through gestures. Like, I'm stressing on this point. It can happen both ways, right? That's what I mean. Okay? So, well, right now, because we're talking about facial expressions, I'm focusing more on facial expressions, right? And you need to learn to smile genuinely and naturally. And that's when I said that you don't pretend smile. You don't just smile with your mouth and show your teeth. You smile in such a way that you feel the smile. You feel genuinely that you want to smile. And that's when your eyes crinkle. And that's when people say that you smile with your eyes. That's when it happens, right? And that's when the facial expressions also become very, very powerful. Okay. Your smile can be false. Your smile can be used to showcase sarcasm. Your smile can do so many things. Now, when you are in listening mode, Sarveen, that's when your head a lot of times needs to be tilted, or it's a very natural body thing. When you're listening and very intently listening, your body is slightly forward. You're not just like sitting laid back like that. Your body is slightly forward. Your head is tilted slightly, maybe just 1 or 2 degrees at an angle, and you're also nodding from time to time. That's when the opposite person understands that you're truly in listening mode, because that's when your body language is showing it. Got it? So again, nodding is a part of the body language, a part of the facial expressions, whatever you may call it. People are able to understand this clearly. Now, what I want you all to do is I'm going to share one video with you, okay? And not right now. I'll share that video with you. It might sound like a little bit of a kiddish video when you watch it, but I'm going to share 2-3 videos, right? So when you do that, answer these kind of questions. What is your understanding of body language through watching some of those videos that I'm going to share with you? What do you need to focus on in terms of, so right now also, after all these things that I've shared with you, can some of you share with me, what are the pointers that you need to focus on in order to improve your body language? What are those pointers? Can you share with me quickly in the chat box? And you also need to, after watching those videos, you need to share with me your understanding of body language, the benefits of body language for you, and Now you can tell me in the chat box which is the area that you need to actually focus on in terms of improving your body language. Mirroring, you want to mirror whatever the opposite person is doing in order to build that rapport. Fantastic. And as a person who wants to build the rapport, one is mirroring that you will use, but what is the other aspect also maybe that you would like to? Posture of your body, Neha. Nice, very good. Anything else in body language that people want to be able to change? Posture, very good. Anything else? Anybody wants to start working on your facial expressions or your hand gestures, whatever be the case. Analyze while watching these videos how you are connecting with people. How do you speak when you are in front of people, when you are in front of a camera maybe, and analyze what is that area in body language that you really want to improve. Okay. And also, so please take down these 3 questions, or then take a screenshot please quickly of this particular thing. Focusing on camera lens while having virtual meetings. Nice, nice, nice. Good. Posture first, nice. Expression and tonality. Very good, Ishika. Thank you so much. Pauses, says Anu. Very nice. Awesome, awesome. So if these are the areas that you want to work towards, you've got your work cut out for you. Take a quick screenshot, and when you're watching these videos that I'm going to share with you, the links, please answer these 3 questions, and please post those 3 the answers of your questions in our WhatsApp group. And I want you people to be able to do this within the next 2 days. So today is a Wednesday. I would like to receive your answers by Friday. Please take down the time by Friday, 12 noon. I would really like it if you can watch, and they're very short 2-3 videos I'm going to share with you. Watch these videos and share with me your understanding of all of these areas. Okay. And having said that, let me just check whether, oh yeah, one more thing. Sorry. I also want you to share with me, when are you going to start implementing? What are you going to start implementing in terms of changing your body language, and how soon are you going to start implementing that? So once again, if you want to take a screenshot, take a screenshot. What are you going to start implementing immediately in terms of, the changes that you want to get into your body language? Even if right now, what you're going to start implementing immediately from whatever you learned today, share with me. When are you going to start? What are you going to start with, and when are you going to start implementing those things, right? That's what I need you to know. Okay. So I really would like it if you people are very, very, focused on the impact your body language can actually have. You will be able to change the way that people look at you. You will be able to change the way that people respond to you when you use powerful body language. You will actually grow in your own confidence when you are able to use that powerful body language. You will also be a lot more respectful with particular type of body language. You will be able to show people that you respect them through your body language as well, not just through your words. And you will also gain other people's respect. You will gain their attention when you are able to use powerful voice tonality as well as body language. So if this session has been a power-packed one for you and has given you a lot of value, then give me a PPV in the comment box. If it has been a power-packed value addition session, then give me a PPV in the comment box. Yes? And I'm going to make a post, which I'm going to share with all of you. I'm going to share the link of that post. I'm going to make a post in my Facebook group that all of you are a part of. Please write your biggest takeaway from today's session on nonverbal communication, because everything we cover today, voice tonality, your modulation in your voice, your pauses, your body language, your facial expressions, your smile, your eye contact, everything that we cover today adds to your communication. And that's part of your nonverbal communication, which is actually making your message 93% more powerful, valuable, retainable, and recallable. And that's why I need you to focus on your nonverbal communication a lot more than sometimes your verbal communication. Because your words can touch, but not without the support of your body language and your voice tonality. Okay. So when I make this post and I share the link with you in the WhatsApp group, please click on that link, go to that Facebook group, and please write your biggest learnings, because your biggest learnings can actually inspire a lot more people to start attending and a lot more people to become vigilant about their nonverbal communication. All right. So I'm going to conclude by saying, please start implementing and identify what are the things in voice modulation and what are the things in body language that you're really going to start implementing, and how soon are you going to start implementing these things. All right. Nice. How to show all these learned today to virtual audience in written communication. To a virtual audience in written communication, how do you show all of these? Through using images in your PPT, using words in your PPT, using videos in your PPT could make that happen. In written communication and virtual, when you mean by sharing a post on social media, well, a lot of times I've noticed that people do read long posts, but it makes it a lot more powerful when you make a written long post and added to that, maybe just the next day after that written long post, you also put on a video content. That's when it becomes super powerful. And when you're sharing it in this kind of a forum, then please use your PPT, and please use images, please use words in your PPT, please explain when you're sharing the PPT. You can also use videos in your PPT to make it a lot more powerful. Okay. So that's what you can do. I hope that I've been able to answer your question, Sangeeta. Okay, guys, let's call it a day today. And please go ahead and watch the videos that I'm going to be sharing. The links of all the links are going to be shared on your WhatsApp group. And also click on the link to be able to share your biggest takeaway from today's session. And that's going to be the post on FB. All right. I'm going to see you soon. Bye-bye. God bless you all. And please keep learning, keep implementing, keep growing, keep teaching it further as well. Ciao for now. Bye. Thank you. Thank you so much. Awesome. I like it when you like the session, and when you find it powerful, when you find it value packed. That's when I like it as well. Thank you, guys. Bye.